foods from space. Now, certain foods that we eat today came to Earth courtesy of alien ETs. And I'll bet you that most people have no clue what they are.
One is corn. Corn.
No. They planted their domestic food crops not only as their source of food when they landed, but also as a reminder of their home world, things that were there. Members of the Atlantean race brought maize that is not corn. Maize is a multicolored, and it still yet needs to be planted by a person or being. It is not self-planting. The food that God created on the earth is all self-planting. It will seed itself and keep going and going and going for increase. He blessed it for increase. But they also brought tomatoes with them. And potatoes. The kale is said to have been developed by them because they found that the Lemurians had put so much aluminum into the soil and into the air to kill off the future for mankind and for them. So kale was one of the things they used to detoxify themselves of aluminum. So they made it especially effective. Members of the Lemurian race brought such joys as fungus, mushrooms, toadstools, and red-tide algae. It kills our fish and oceans. And it's one of the things that feeds on phosphates that they are so determined to dig out of the ground, not recognizing that it killed the oceans and life in the oceans before. The reptilians, this race brought the chameleon octopus, and they brought the cuttlefish. Both of them are very intelligent. They test the foods so that when the reptilians come, they know which ones they can eat and which ones they shouldn't eat on the earth. And it's interesting that they have, like the cuttlefishes, they're finding, first they thought they had the intelligence of a 3 to 4 year old. Then they said 6. Now they're saying 8 to 9 years old. It's an interesting fish. It's genetically different than all the other fish that we have in our ocean. Where did it come from? And before, I think it was 58 or something like that, it was not heard of. Never found anywhere on Earth or under the seas. But cuttlefish have a long-term genetic memory. If they recognize you, if you've been friendly to them and you recognize, or you feed them, or you do things, or protect them from porpoise that love to nibble on them, they pass that information down to their children of what you look like and what your scents are and what the uniqueness of you is, is in being, and it may even get in the 3rd and 4th, 5th generation down. if you show up, even when the parent has long-term died, they will recognize you and come immediately to you. Now, what kind of fish is that? They can be taught musical chords. They can go through the sense the way through a maze about 80 times faster than a human. And seem to have an unlimited ability to recognize the genetic structures of other ocean creatures and whether they're acceptable or not acceptable. But as I said, they're not of Earth. They're not edible by humans either, though there are some that try. The Pleiadians are said to be able to consume all the food items that humans can eat. Okay? Everything, completely, without any hassle or trouble to them. But who are they? They are the descendants of today's mankind who were genetically altered and sent back in time, approximately 200 million years ago back in time, to populate several systems in the Pleiades grouping, constellations. It is believed that an advanced group of scientists left Earth just before the Great Tribulation. Before this became the fact of life that it was here. They sensed everything, they seen everything. They built a space-time ship. But there seems to be so much activity around the Iraq Stargate that it is quite possible that they sent more than one ship into the Pleiades system. Because the US government's been very active there, they've been digging a lot of stuff up. They have it exposed where it can be used right now. It is noted as the largest US military base. It encompasses this place where the Stargate is. Of all the places on Earth, it is the largest on a desert area. Okay? Very interesting. But if this is the case, one of their items of history that the Pleiadians mention is that about 3,400 landed on a planet in the Pleiades system and colonized it and terraformed it, is the word they use. Not according to the planet, but terraformed it. So that causes some interest to it. Atlanteans, who brought the maize, because it grows fast and converts large amounts of CO2 very quickly. It converts it, uses it. You can follow their worldly migrations by following the maize. Wherever the maize went, guess who was there? Tomatoes grow fast. They clean water and air quickly. Being great for when you're traveling in ships and you gotta keep your air breathable. Guess what they planted to do so? Maize and tomatoes. And they produce an antioxidant that when you're exposed to harsh radiation, causes an automatic repair of your genetic code systems. Stimulates for automatic repair, constantly. But it also has an effect that it allows the body to dispose of aluminum. Okay. Kale was developed to expel the aluminum. Here the tomatoes bind with it so that it can be expelled, and kale causes it to be expelled. And especially aluminum 26 from their bodies and ours. It is also, tomato plants are also, or kale plants are very efficient air cleaners also. You can see what they did is this food that they were keeping on their ship, they planted when they came to Earth. And it spread wherever they set up their bases. Then came their 56 varieties of potatoes. The purple and the yellow flesh were the first types to be brought to Earth and grown in Peru to support the police squads in the Puma Punku base. It became a foundation crop wherever they went. They brought potatoes with them. Potatoes resist absorption of aluminum. When they're planted, they don't absorb the aluminum from the soil, but other plants will. And they also resist the absorption of other toxic metals, heavy metals. They rebuild the soil that the maize and other crops deplete. You plant potatoes for 2 years in a soil and all of a sudden the soil's back alive again where it can support other crops. When eaten from steamed, when you steam them and then eat them, they have so much antioxidant in them that they can reverse the damage caused by radiation, poisonings, and having eaten unclean meats or meats that are starting to rot. Generally, let's say you have meat that's a little bit too long in the freezer, it gets freezer burned. By cooking it with potatoes, it will rejuvenate the potatoes, or rejuvenate the meat, but you don't eat the potatoes. And it seems like it was a very much chosen food. The Lemurians used their knowledge of DNA splicing and fungus to create a new species of fungus to attack and destroy the potato crops throughout the ages. They've been altering and specifying on it. They were totally responsible for the Irish potato famine. 100% responsible. They have developed many fungi, molds, and other blight products to starve humans and Atlanteans to death. All Atlanteans left on Earth can never be brought back to Atlantos because these fungus and molds created by the Lemurian engineers that would infect the crops in their homeworld and on all the ships. So they would be totally floored out. The Lemurians have attacked all of mankind's fruits and vegetables in order to create a worldwide famine. Their final attempts will soon be released worldwide. Very soon. Most of the GMO foods, these foods are highly susceptible to the funguses and molds that are created by, that's why they want the GMO worldwide in the food supply system. Because if you have the GMO proteins in your system, you are subject to the same death pains as the plants would be suffering that were there for the. These things are being promoted as saviors, but they're actually an open door curse. So in closing, we say, eat well, sleep well, live well, without GMO foods or your aluminum, daily dosage of aluminum 26 either. Peace.